With $40 billion in annual revenues, over 550 million active buyers, and a market value of well over $400 billion, Alibaba is easily one of the most valuable companies the world has ever seen. The company had the largest IPO in history, and its founder, Jack Ma, became the richest man in China overnight. But the journey to get to that point was much longer than that. Jack Ma was born in Hangzhou, China in 1964 to a family that didn't have much money or social status. In his teenage and early adult years, he struggled to get ahead in life, but something unique about him was that he never gave up. After school, he couldn't find any job, even ones he was overqualified for. He was rejected by 30 jobs but finally found work teaching English at a local university. Even though he didn't make much money teaching, he loved what he did and the students loved his positive attitude. His positive attitude and relentlessness helped him achieve his success, and it all started to come together when he discovered the internet. He started a translation service business in the early 90s and took a business trip to the US in 1995, where one of his partners showed him a computer and the internet for the first time. He searched the internet for Chinese beer but couldn't find any, or really any general information about China. China obviously had a huge population and they had computers, so Jack wondered why he couldn't find anything from his home country. At this point, he knew he wanted to create an internet business and immediately started working on his idea for a company. Jack, his wife, and a few friends managed to raise $20,000 for their company called China Pages. China Pages was a directory of various Chinese companies looking for customers abroad, and was one of China's first internet companies. The company ended up not working out, but it was his introduction to the internet and starting a business. And because of his relentlessness, he didn't stop there. In 1999, he convinced 17 of his friends to come work on a new internet business with him. Even though most of them had very little experience with computers, Jack's enthusiastic personality brought them all on board. They managed to raise $60,000 for their idea of creating an online marketplace that allowed exporters to post product listings that customers could buy directly. Jack named this company Alibaba, meaning open sesame, and it quickly took off. His goal for Alibaba was to enable small and medium-sized businesses based in China to trade internationally, similar to what he was trying to do with China Pages. Being the first of its kind, Alibaba quickly gained traction in China and interest from investors. It raised $5 million from a variety of investors in 1999, and $20 million from SoftBank in 2000. In under 2 years, Alibaba raised $25 million and gained a lot of traction in terms of users and word of mouth. However, it still wasn't profitable, and it still had not expanded outside of China.
But what is the money you're making? How will you make money on the internet, and why should anyone wonder about it if it's not making money?
Today, the site, right now we did not make any money on our site, and so totally free because we want to try to attract more attraction.
Can you see why people think it's so much hot air? You don't make any money, you've got extraordinary claims, and yet you make nothing.
That's internet.
The businesses selling products through Alibaba were doing very well though, proving the success of the service. Alibaba just had to find a way to prove that they themselves could make a profit. Alibaba released paid services that allowed business owners to create their own storefronts on the site and to appear higher in searches. A year later, Alibaba had finally reached a profit and proved their business could work. But at the same time, Alibaba was starting to see some serious competition. In 2003, eBay was beginning to enter the Chinese market by acquiring Eachnet, China's most popular auction site at the time, giving eBay control of 80% of the e-commerce market. Even though eBay was a consumer-to-consumer marketplace and Alibaba was a business-to-business marketplace, this acquisition was a big deal because it would give eBay much more leverage in China. eBay already had a ridiculous amount of money from its US operations, so acquiring foreign companies to set up operations in other countries was no problem to them. This was clearly a huge threat to Alibaba, and to counter the competition, Alibaba began working on a secret project called Taobao. Taobao was a consumer-to-consumer marketplace just like eBay, except it did not charge a commission on transactions like eBay does. Both buyers and sellers could use Taobao for free. However, Taobao and Alibaba would make no money, and when it was released, Jack Ma officially declared war on eBay. Since the service was free, it was able to attract most of the users that would have otherwise gone to eBay. This wasn't sustainable in the long term, but it was necessary to beat eBay. The difference that truly set the two websites apart was Taobao's response to the Chinese market. eBay had the money to enter the market, but they did not understand the culture of China and what users wanted. Taobao was in its home territory and knew what users wanted in terms of look and feel of the site. Taobao's flashy, lighthearted feel attracted the Chinese market, and features such as live chat and message boards created trust not only between users, but between users and Taobao as well. The fight against eBay was going well, as Taobao was gaining a lot of users over them, but eBay was not giving up, and was not running out of money anytime soon. In 2005, however, Alibaba got a massive break.
It is official. Yahoo agreed to pay $1 billion in cash for a 40% stake in Alibaba.com. The move is designed to catch up with eBay. With the deal, Yahoo is going to become Alibaba's biggest investor, and Alibaba will take over Yahoo's China operation.
Alibaba now had one of the top tech companies in their portfolio, and a large pool of money, giving them an incredible advantage over eBay and any other potential threats. The funding from Yahoo allowed Taobao to create big advertisement campaigns, and by 2007, Taobao controlled 84% of China's e-commerce market with over 600 million accounts. eBay completely withdrew from China, and Taobao's user base increased to 170 million, and its revenues increased from 2 billion to 30 billion in just 3 years. But Taobao didn't come alone, and part of its success was driven by Alipay. Alipay was created alongside Taobao to serve as a payment platform for Alibaba's businesses. It acted as a third party to temporarily hold the money paid by the buyer until the product was received in good condition. This not only created a trustworthy system for users, but also increased the convenience of online payments in China. As Alipay grew, it eventually became Alipay's own financial company, Ant Financial. Ant Financial offers credit to customers using their trading and payment history to assess credit risk. Alipay continued to grow with Alibaba in the advance of technology, and as of 2013, it's the world's largest mobile payment platform. Alipay can be used in China to pay for most things, from in-store shopping to paying for utilities. Alipay has nearly 1 billion users, over 700 million of them in China. By 2008, eBay was no longer a threat, and Alibaba had the top position in China's e-commerce market. Alibaba.com, Taobao.com, and Alipay were all extremely successful, and Alibaba Group was set to grow into what it is today. Jack Ma's next move was to launch a business-to-consumer marketplace called Taobao Mall, or Tmall.com. Tmall.com was released in April 2008, and by 2010, the site ranked 1 among all Chinese business-to-consumer sites with 3 times the amount of merchandise volume than their closest competitor. Tmall.com earns money from commissions, advertising, and through membership fees. Alibaba's e-commerce marketplaces are successful not only because of the global internet and e-commerce boom, but because of China's government. China's government owns a lot of the country's land, and it relies heavily on taxes and fees associated with selling the land. Combined with strict selling rules and restrictions on foreign investment, China's government did not allow for a developed retail infrastructure and distribution system. To put it into perspective, America's top 100 retailers account for over 40% of its retail market, whereas China's top 100 retailers account for only 7% of its retail market. China's retail market consists of mainly small and medium-sized retailers, unlike the US, where large retailers dominate the market. Increasing income levels come with consumption growth. Without a large physical retail industry, consumers will go to e-commerce, which is exactly what China did. Alibaba's businesses, especially Taobao and Tmall, allowed for the small businesses that make up China's retail industry to put their products online, reaching a much larger crowd. Chinese business owners were making a much better living under this e-commerce model because of being able to reach this larger, more accessible crowd. Consumers also had many more options when it came to shopping, whether it be for groceries or just for leisure items. This economic situation, China's growing economy, and the growing e-commerce industry was the perfect mix for Alibaba's success. Their marketplaces were the solution to China's market inefficiencies. Alibaba had established itself as the leader in China's e-commerce market and was starting to make a serious impact on global e-commerce. It was now time for Jack Ma to secure its long-term future. On September 18, 2014, Alibaba went public and raised $25 billion, making it the largest IPO in history. Jack Ma's 8% stake in the company was worth around $15 billion, and hundreds of employees holding shares became millionaires overnight. Jack Ma's fortune has since grown to $39 billion, and he's the richest person in China, but he's indifferent to the wealth.
What we raised today is not money. It's the trust. It's the responsibilities that we have. We can help millions of small business and create millions and millions of jobs. Small is powerful. Small is beautiful. Thank you very, very much.
From 2014 until today, Alibaba has expanded their portfolio in tech, real estate, and finance, expanding their reach across China and the rest of the world. They even plan on going back to retail's roots and opening brick-and-mortar stores in China. Alibaba has a unique success story, and its founder, Jack Ma, reshaped China's retail industry, creating opportunities for thousands of employees and millions of people selling products online.
创新概念以及我们这种拼劲才能去斗，否则的话，跟他们有什么区别呢？我们为后面的3、5年所付出的代价是非常惨重，只有这样的惨重的代价，才会赢得我们未来的取得的成功。